When Donald Trump nominated Pam Bondi to be the United States Attorney General, it was straight out of a move as if he was casting The Apprentice, because all he wanted to do was make sure as a wannabe mob boss that he had that person like a Roy Cohn who was always going to protect him no matter what, no matter how many lies she had to tell, no how many laws she had to break, or how much she has to buck the actual reality of the judicial system. All Donald Trump wants and wanted is loyalty, and he is getting it. In this breaking story, you won't believe the most absurd thing that our U.S. Attorney General just chose to lie about in public, in front of cameras, in front of the world, over nothing, simply to try and pat Donnie on the back of the head when it comes to a legal action he's trying to make happen. This should be so disturbing to you because it is so minuscule in thought and yet so monstrous in what it means for the rest. And we're only 100 days in to his presidency and to her being Attorney General. And I'm going to show that to you in a few seconds. Take a quick listen at a little understanding about who she is, and also Riley Gaines, the subject of this breaking story. Take a listen.
There's certainly red flags across the board when it comes to the Trump team.
Well, let's talk about potential red flags when it comes to Pam Bondi. Christy, at the 2016 Republican National Convention, Bondi joined others in the lock her up chants directed at Hillary Clinton. And she said this just last year, in fact, on Fox.
When Republicans take back the White House, you know what's going to happen? The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated.
The administration's top law enforcement official, AG Bondi, late today doing an interview. That's the judge there that oversaw all this, but doing an interview and making the radical claim that federal judges shouldn't be asking questions to get the facts and evidence, shouldn't rule on federal laws like the Alien Enemies Act. Now, Bondi is an experienced lawyer. She knows that is literally a judge's job. And so I'm giving you context before I show what she said, because it is legally fact-check false. The claims she makes here late today, amidst all of this, escalate the very lawlessness that Donald Trump claims to disavow.
This judge has no right to ask those questions. You have one unelected federal judge trying to control foreign policies, the Alien Enemies Act, which they have no business presiding over. The judge had no business, no power to do what he did. This judge had no right to do that.
False. The federal judge has the right and professional duty to rule on law and federal government actions.
My dad said throughout my whole life, anytime I went to him to complain, first he would say, put up or shut up. You can complain all you want, but unless you're willing to do something about it, then it's merely just complaining. And Riley, no one likes to be around someone who's complaining.
Yeah, to say red flags is putting it lightly about Pam Bondi before she was nominated. And now for her to actually say as the Attorney General that the judicial branch as a co-equal branch of government shouldn't question laws. That's weird. I seem to recall this little thing called Roe v. Wade that was settled law, and now it's been overturned. That is minuscule. And then you have Riley Gaines, the subject, the swimmer, the lawsuit, Maine, and what Pam Bondi just lied about to the world. Take a listen.
We want to restore the records of these young women. You know, these women lost records. One didn't go to regionals, one didn't go to state, all because of a boy. All of these records should be restored, not only in Maine, but around the country, of these young women. You know, Riley Gaines started training for swimming when she was 4 years old. She made it to the Olympics. A lot of this around the country is being taken away from young women now because boys are competing in women's sports. And it's more than that. It's a safety issue.
For the record, Riley Gaines' highest ranking event finish nationally was 5th place in the NCAA Women's Division I Championship 200-yard freestyle final in March 2022. She was invited to a tryout for a 2024 Olympic qualification event in 2021, but failed to qualify for the event proper. In April 2022, after the end of her collegiate career, she subsequently retired from competitive swimming. Honestly, that's hard to fathom. With the entire Justice Department at her disposal, dozens and dozens of assistants and support staff and staffers, etc., etc., it takes 3 seconds to look up Riley Gaines' actual history as a swimmer in Division I women's swimming sport and understand that she never went to the Olympics. She couldn't even qualify for the Olympic trials. Now, this may sound like a little thing to you, but this is part of the issue. If they're willing to stone cold face lie to the American public over something that small, and also have already shown they're willing to lie stone cold about the big things, what are you left with? You're left with nothing but the actual thing they have claimed has been going on during the Biden administration of a shadow government. No, this is the shadow government run by Donald Trump, all his sycophants, and the United States Attorney General. Stay frosty.